Distinguished guests, you are please requested to take your seats. It's time for our roundtable beginning. Thank you. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, guests, invited persons, and speakers. Within the framework of the 4th Eurasian Economic Forum, we are suggested to discuss one fundamental topical problem: cooperation in the EAEU as the path to the efficient development of the agricultural sector. My name is Brodov Roman. I am first Vice Board Chairman of the Development Bank of the Republic of Belarus. Thank you for allowing me to moderate the event. We have Sergei Yurovich Glazyev, Deputy Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Kazakhstan, and many more representatives. On the one hand, EAEU now has positive trends in agro-business. On the other hand, we are not away from its turbulence. It is considered that the key to successful development is efficiency. And I would like to hear today all opinions and try to approach answers to many issues faced by us, like transfer of technologies, value-added chain. This is something we are constantly discussing, and we have 90 minutes, so let us keep the timing. We have a very representative speaker composition, high-level speakers. Don't let us miss a possibility to... So 6 minutes for every speech, and as moderator, I would try to keep the timing as harshly as I can. Please, dear Gouhar, member of the board, Minister for Industry and Agro-Industrial Complex of the Eurasian Economic Commission, you are the main speaker. I'll give floor to you. Why does the Commission focuses so much on cooperation in agriculture? Thank you very much, dear colleagues, friends. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to all our speakers for a lot of interest to our session. It's session number 2. I'd like to traditionally extend gratitude to our Belarusian colleagues for a high-pitch organization of our today's forum. We speak a lot about food security, about cooperation, linked development, higher competitive edge, reducing import dependencies, and we hear messages from our bosses in the Republic of Belarus in the first place. For 10 years, within the Union state, coordinated agro-industrial policies, a regulatory legal framework has been adopted. As we face turbulence, shifting sands of the global politics, the time is up to think about real support measures for the branch, because our sector of the economy is vitally important. Literally last year at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum, we spoke extensively about cooperation relations within the 5 member states. And literally a few years ago, head of our governments have had instructions to extend cooperation work within the area of agriculture. And we could convince our bosses that we really need to develop and extend such measures, because we already have pinpointed the major efforts areas like seeds, logistics. All the members have big needs and potentials, have their bottlenecks, and within the framework of the Union, we should develop things to achieve economic sovereignty. We are at an early stage to prepare the legal framework. Relevant procedures are underway, and we are working at key preconditions. We have good experiences in the area of industry, manufacturing industries, working on the mechanisms and on their launching elements so as to eliminate the bottlenecks we see in industry and to transfer those to the agro-industrial complex with appropriate improvements made. I'm sure that the kickstart of a new mechanism in the agro-industrial complex will enable us with a real development of cooperation links in agro-business, and successful implementation, successful launch will enable us to convince our leaders that we need real support measures in this area, because believe me that businesses are in dire need of these measures, and we cannot afford missing their messages. Today, during the session, we shall have speakers with vast experiences, and I hope that we shall have a vivid discussion, and I'm sure that many of our proposals and offers will form a basis for further measures. Thank you. Thank you very much. Maybe our guests have questions to ask. Okay, now I'll ask you a question, a high-level question, which is important as a fundamental one for decision makers. Is cooperation is a way to do things today or at the middle term prospect, so that we take into account such issues like digitalization, climate issues. Speaking about cooperation, do we try to tackle urgent today's issues, or are we forward-looking? Naturally, today we are addressing an issue of today while looking into the future, because this is the way to do things. Today we should decide, because we have some proposals on sugar industry, incubation, chickens. Today we addressing today's issues and laying foundations for the future. The next speech, without exaggeration, will be key for our meeting, because it targets a problem which is important for everyone. Food independence is a key to many things, where the state cooperation is becoming the connecting link, which instead of 2 plus 2 is 4, will make it 4 as a sum. Please, thank you. Shogoyko Vadim Viktorovich, Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food of the Republic of Belarus. Thank you. I'm not afraid to seem banal. I'd like to underline a key role of the agro-industrial complex in meeting the public need in food products, while supplying the internal market, domestic market. Belarus exports its products to the EAEU markets. In some cases, our share is up to 75%. We export dairy products, meat products, with due regard to such things as halal and kasher considerations. We try to achieve mutually beneficial cooperation, like using packing produced in the EAEU. We import pork, packing, many things like additives from other union countries. The Eurasian Economic Union is dependent on imports, of course, everywhere. It differs from country to country. In particular, Belarus depends on imported seeds, alfalfa, sugar beets, and other products. We should demonstrate our common success also in seed production. Every of our countries has research institutions and research centers which are interested in it. We have things to offer to each other, and we are actively engaging with each other, including joint selection. Without stopping where we are, we understand that an engine to form self-sufficient and export-oriented agro-industrial complex in the Eurasian Economic Union member states will be provided by implementation of joint investment projects. Joint work is a way to success, and in the future we should expand cooperation in the area of cooperation and pass over to implementation of joint projects related to localization in the union countries, including high-tech products like seeds, fertilizers, agricultural machines, and so on. Cooperation development in this area will be further supported by financial support when implementing joint cooperation projects by the Union members. At present, within the framework of implementing the Eurasian instructions of meeting number 1, we are engaged in work forming preconditions, mechanisms to support the agro-industrial complex, take into consideration peculiarities of agricultural production, which will boost many areas of agricultural production. We plan that joint cooperation projects will be conducive to technological development in strengthening trade and economic cooperation between businesses in the member states in the area of agro-business. Competences and experiences are needed. Ministry of Agriculture and Industry of the Republic of Belarus is conducting work with parties, businesses engaged in the process. We believe that the work done to prepare theoretical foundations will be implemented in the area of specific projects to meet the tasks we jointly face in the area of sustainable development, upgrade, modernization, and increasing competitive edge. I'm through. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you. Does anyone have any question to the previous speaker? Vladimir Viktorovich, please, what can we set as an objective in the area of achieving food security and food independence? When we can say to ourselves that we have achieved positive result and we are happy with it? At present, we are already moving to this goal. We are addressing various issues. Our countries are mutually helpful, but we have faced certain issues which are of a global dimension, which is why it is necessary to concentrate our efforts in this, along this vector. We are ready, and the Republic of Belarus has experience and competences to develop selection in the area of seed production. We understand that this is the process which is objective and lengthy. With due regard to the intensification of our technologies, it needs a deep and detailed exploration, investigation, because apart from the resources we have, there are other issues to be taken into consideration to achieve a good product. In the end, we see that our countries are in a position to address all the global issues which have arisen to achieve autarky in the area of foodstuffs. Thank you. Joint project activity is part of activities in the Union State. We have its own mechanism of project implementation. They are financed by from the budget of the Union State. Sergey Yurievich, Mr. Glaziev, your topic has been announced globally, but we would like you to concentrate on your colossal experience and the gems which are hidden in your experience are very valuable for us to be shared. You are welcome. Secretary of State of the Union State Standing Committee. I have already spoken today during the first session and mentioned some Union State programs, which is a key mechanism for us, which is not available in the Eurasian Economic Committee agenda. It helps us to provide subsidization. I have prepared a presentation. I am not going to comment, just look at the transparencies. You will see that we have programs in the area of agro-industrial complex, starting with outer space, computation, electronics, microelectronics, electronic machines, chemical fibers and materials, agriculture, food production. Quite a few sectors. Much has been achieved, starting with animal fodder and beginning with transgender goat. We do not understand how to produce lactose out of its milk, but I do think that we shall find a way to tackle all these tasks too. How to go to scaling up. It's a matter for discussion, and it's a major bottleneck. We need loans for that. Together with the Customs Union, we have launched a tool, Center of High Technologies, a virtual hub, and it set up a Center of Information Technologies. It's a venture company. We couldn't fully implement it because not all the countries have contributed with financial support. Now the institute is no longer in existence, but we should initiate contemporary approaches and set up development banks to join development institutions and special refinancing tools, bank refinancing tools. The banks which are engaged in funding joint cooperation and investment projects. The scale should be tenfold of what we have now. The tool we have now and the European Economic Commission is currently conducting are directed at coordinated bank efforts These are earmarked efforts to have the money transferred to the final best users. At the same time,
so if we recall that our primary agents of our economic activity are the producers, and for the favor of the producers, we are planning to expand our cooperation. We have to take into account and we have to admit that besides just subsidizing subsidies from the state budget, we can also talk about the targeted loans, which each central bank could provide in its own local currency. So such instrument potential could be 5 trillion rubles. It sounds like a huge amount, but taking into consideration the scale of our economies, this level is quite adequate. Moreover, the central banks today have taken out more than 20 trillion of rubles out of the economy by attracting the companies' funds on the deposits, etc. So the question is about returning this money targeted, earmarked, without any tying up to the key rate. So the rate should be at the international level 4 or 5%, or even 1.5% if we are talking about agricultural equipment and technologies. So there is quite a lot to work on. And if you look at the list of the programs, the one that I would like to mention is medicine. And we have finalized a series of products on cell research. And today, Belarus is one of the main destinations for medical tourism. But in order to make it a systems situation, we need to have a systems approach that banks would, under the auspices of the banks, there would be certain projects with the mechanism of refinancing by the central banks, and in this case it would work as one whole. It may seem that the outcomes of our programs are not so huge. They enable us to cover the expenses, but in certain aspects they are manifold times higher than the expenses, and it's a good booster in order to boost it systematically, we need loans. The instrument that the EAEU Commission has elaborated so far is a good start. And Zoara Shotovna, we see that there is a certain conflict of interest. I would like to pay attention to compensational taxes for agricultural complex, agro-industrial system and sector. It would be a right approach because agriculture is subsidized. In the EU, for instance, it's subsidized by huge amounts. And the world practice, as part of the WHO, for instance, enables us to introduce some levies or taxes and use these taxes to support our own projects in agricultural industry and food industry. So there are quite many ideas here that can be implemented. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I very much recommend all the participants to ask questions to Mr. Glaziev, Sergei Yurievich. Unfortunately, he will not stay with us till the end of this roundtable. He will have to leave earlier. So please take an opportunity and ask even most complex and difficult questions. I have one ready. Actually, you have answered it already, Mr. Kolektiv, about the role of the financial institutions in support of the state projects. But, Sergei Yurovich, we know your position about this topic, on this topic. If I imagine that there is some virtual opponent instead of you, that these methods of monetary stimulation pose threat to the inflation, to sustainability, to financial and monetary politics. If we develop this position, what conditions and criteria of the cooperation projects we have to comply with in order to, on the one hand, not to choke the good, not to kind of throw out the baby with the bathwater, but on the other hand, to make sure that only the efficient projects and efficient ideas get financed? Well, first thing, if I answer my hypothetical opponent, when you raise interest rates in order to overcome inflation, then loans to industrial projects reduce, and the importers import more, and there is a load on the currency, and the currency devalues. Our products are more expensive. The imported products are more economical to buy, so it's a vicious circle which our economy goes through for the 30th decade already. What we suggest is to have the cheaper loans for the long-term projects, medium-term loans for the more faster launching projects. One thing we have to make sure is that the demand of currency for the investment projects that use the beneficial instruments don't exceed the return on export or the income from export for these financial instruments. In this case, we don't overload this instrument. We we further macroeconomic stability, and the inflation becomes lower. Thank you very much. Any other questions from our participants? Yes, unfortunately, I have to go back. I have to leave for the airport right now. But I believe our forums are becoming not only regular, but in the interims of between the forums, we keep communicating, like with Gara Oshotovna, for instance. So together, we do one common goal. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Vadim Valerievich Markovich, the Deputy Chairman of the agro-industrial complex of the Russian Federation, the Deputy Minister of Agriculture of the Russian Federation. Maxim Valerievich is ready to talk about his expert opinion on how to develop the joint projects in agricultural industry and which tying connections we can find, and that would further our positions. Thank you very much. Roman Pavlovich, unfortunately, I am connecting with you just digitally and remotely. I think that this is a very serious next step in the integration and cooperation of between our countries. I'm satisfied with the results of the projects that I have learned about, and it would be, and the sound is off, unfortunately. So we don't hear what the Deputy Minister is saying. Unfortunately, the interpreter booth does not have the input from the Deputy
В
Minister.
частности, Российская Федерация предпринимает системные усилия по направлению развития селекции генетики как ключевого фактора повышения продуктивности производства. В частности, осуществляется поддержка комплексных научно-технических проектов, создание агробиотехнопарков, оснащение по самым высоким стандартам научных институтов. Ожидается, что в растениеводстве удастся довести долю семян отечественной селекции до 75%. К 2030 году в животноводстве полноценно внедрить инструменты геномной селекции. Отдельного внимания заслуживает работа по промышленной адаптации российского кросса мясных кур смена 9 с улучшенными продуктивными характеристиками. Так, если в 2023 году было реализовано почти 300 тысяч тонн 300-тысячсуточных цыплят, то в 2025 году запланирована реализация, которая почти в 3 раза превысит этот показатель.
Unfortunately, the sound is very poor. So the Deputy Minister is talking about the development of livestock farming and its importance for food safety issues. The upcoming plans for the next few years is to ensure the domestic production and increase up to 70%. Agriculture traditionally works as a consumer for a series of locally produced industrial commodities and machinery. So the development of agriculture would ensure the development of other sectors of the economy, which produces machine building and equipment for agriculture. A very important aspect is research and development. Once again, I will emphasize the importance of the sector's development for self-sufficiency and food safety of our country. I believe that we have to very carefully use the practice of introducing certain limitations at the national levels. And look for the measures that could alter these limitations. But in general, we believe that our investment projects in the area of agricultural industry have a big future. And thank you very much for your attention, dear colleagues.
Максим Валерьевич, спасибо большое.
Maxim Valeryevich, thank you very much.
Очень большая надежда на вопросы.
So I really hope that there will be many questions.
Максим Валерьевич, в одном из публичных
Maxim Valeryevich,
выступлений
in one of your
упомянули
public
такой важный фактор
speeches, you mentioned a very important factor, very important factor of the sector, agricultural industry sector, as personnel, qualified personnel. How do you evaluate our preparedness, level of our preparedness from the personnel point of view? Thank you very much. Of course. Okay, and the sound goes off again. The booth apologizes, we don't have the sound.
Наши российские агропромышленные вузы готовы принимать большое количество студентов из стран ЕАЭС. Будем рады, соответственно, обучать студентов стран ЕАЭС тому, чему мы сами умеем, и делиться этим опытом. Поэтому, пользуясь возможностью, хотел бы всех призвать, если есть такая необходимость, пожалуйста, наши вузы открыты. Мы готовы принимать большое количество студентов из стран. Это только укрепит наше сотрудничество.
Good quality advertisement was mentioned, but that's why we are here. Unfortunately, we did not hear what was advertised. Thank you for your speech and for your answer. As the world's experience shows, uniform defining effort
хозяйствам по
enables medium and small enterprises increase their competitiveness. Currently in Kazakhstan, they pay special attention to attracting investment, especially in agricultural sector. Irbol Konishevich Tasrurekov is joining us from Kazakhstan. Hello, dear colleagues, dear Mr. Chairman. I greet you on the behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Kazakhstan, and I am very honored to join your discussion platform. And I'm glad to talk about the possible cooperation as part of EAEU. Today we have quite many challenges and lots of tasks to develop our cooperation and increasing our export potential. Kazakhstan has significant resources and a very favorable geographical position in order to develop its agriculture. Currently, we have a potential to ensure our own domestic products in various areas up to 80 or even 100%. Last year, more than $900 million US dollars worth of products of Kazakhstan produced agricultural products were exported from Kazakhstan to the EAEU countries, and more than 60% of import of the Russian Federation constituted from Kazakhstan last year. Currently, special attention is given to attracting investment. And last year, we featured a growth of 13%. That's the most significant booster. And the Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Kazakhstan is implementing a comprehensive approach with 677 investment projects worth of $6.4 billion US dollars. And another $1.2 billion investment is planned in the nearest future. That's for the development of livestock farming and agricultural farming. It is important to note that these achievements were due to comprehensive state support starting from 2022. The ministry has introduced a very favorable loans program through regional development institutions. The Kazakhstan agricultural business companies showed a great interest, and there was a big demand on their behalf in state investment. And therefore, we started implementing a large-scale project on supporting them. In 2023, the investment was worth 100 billion tenge, and the financing of the same scale was repeated in next year. We can take into consideration the desires of agricultural business, and our next investments will be even greater. we don't only give long-term loans, but we also give short-term, like 2-year-long loans, and we reimburse the investment expenses in order to increase return on investment. Currently, the most topical problem for a challenge for agricultural business is high.
We still have a deficit of financial engines to support innovation and upgrade. Dear sir, you only have 1 minute left. Thank you. I would like to point out that implementation of these joint programs will be even more efficient if we employ joint networking tools to enforce them. I would like to also understrike that we are developing some frameworks not only to provide financial support, but also to moderate and facilitate stable relations between the entities engaged in agricultural production in our country. Thank you very much. I would like to develop the last idea you've developed. You said that Kazakhstan wants to use outside investments from foreign countries. It's not the kind of cooperation we are talking about, but can you please tell us where exactly we should go in the area of cooperative efforts, and what ways will provide the biggest no sound.
Скажите хлопцам, что... В этом направлении у Казахстана есть значительные наработки, причем есть большой экспортный потенциал.
Sorry, I have lost audio. I cannot provide interpretation any longer because I cannot hear the speaker.
В реализации проектов по глубокой переработке зерновых. И в этой связи, имея этот экспортный потенциал, имея такую большую интересную нишу, мы призываем именно, приглашаем инвесторов с других государств к реализации совместных проектов, участвуя как в нашей программе, как я обозначил по опыту, он у нас называется «Большой проект», по опыту Северо-Казахстанской области, очень успешный проект по именно ставке 2,5% в году. Это сразу же снимает вопросы кредитования, длительного кредитования. На сегодняшний день мы все понимаем, что сельское хозяйство, особенно в Казахстане, находится в зоне высокорискованного земледелия, и подтягивание длительное дешевое кредитование наряду с финансовыми и нефинансовыми мерами государственной поддержки на местах мы можем совместно реализовать эти проекты, у которых, как еще раз обозначу, есть большой экспортный потенциал в третьи страны.
Спасибо, пожалуйста.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your kind answer. Maybe someone else has a question to ask the previous speaker. Thanks a lot for your contribution. Dear colleagues, one of the examples, positive example, we have a positive cooperation. Today we can hear about a realistic project of Russian, Belarusian cooperation in the area of agriculture. Elena Malinovskaya, Deputy Chairman of the Belarusian Chamber of Trade and Commerce. What barriers, what benefits, what obstacles we still have what areas can become drivers for joint projects? Please, the floor is yours. Thank you for your question. Of course, speaking about the development of industrial cooperation among the 5 Union member states, we should not ignore the experience of the Union state. The Belarusian-Russian Union cooperation agriculture has yielded good results. And we are going towards agricultural sovereignty, agricultural produce sovereignty. We can see positive results. A legal framework has been formed as far as localization is concerned. Back in January 24, Decree number 3 of the Union State was signed, which states that the status of produce from Russia and Belarus is equal if produced under joint programs. Belarus and Russia implement about 20 cooperation projects worth about 100 billion Russian rubles. Mr. Glaziev has already mentioned. The programs cover such strategic areas of industry like microelectronics, machine building, avionics, heavy machinery. The Chamber of Trade and Commerce, the Republic of Belarus, and our Russian colleagues, we are engaged in the development of union cooperation. Decree number 3, Edict number 3, has instituted industrial production to be delivered under the needs directly stated. The expert community is contributing to implementation. Our chambers allow to find proper product niches and to strike new cooperation connections. This building accommodated not a long time ago an exhibition which saw participation of 18 Russian regions as participants. Last year we had about 550 foreign related events, our chamber, including about half of them with the involvement of our Russian counterparts. Today, practically every speaker mentioned, I'm not going to repeat them, the major areas. Import replacement. Today, companies of Russia and Belarus are actively engaged in producing elements which would replace on the markets imported goods. It is a vital area for agriculture, including seed production, fertilizers, digital services. This is the way to implement plans of import replacement under the sanction pressure and to achieve company modernization. It's vital also to achieve new levels in creating new products based on resources and technological competences we have and investments from all the parts. Let's recognize, besides, one of the problems is duplication, which leads to internal competition. Our joint developments could be combined to achieve a better impact. We, this way, could see big companies growing up to compete with outer markets, not domestically. The Economic Union should sponsor more proactive development, vigorous development towards vital economic goals. We are looking for finance to fund this effort. We actively use into the ways to expand these schemes elsewhere. We as chambers are not aloft from all these efforts, actively engaged in cooperation.
Елена Сергеевна, 1 минутка.
You have, Elena, just 1 minute left. There is a project office within the EAEU, but to mar the otherwise bright, broader picture, just 2 projects have been adopted by this center. My colleague Dmitry from the Russian Chamber of Trade and Commerce could shed more light on the issue. I would like, probably the comment, I would like to say that the mechanism was launched just 1 year ago, although the committee is active for 2 or 3 years. I understand that 2 projects are few and far between, but they should serve as a good guidance for others. We have under consideration about 5 projects, and many more will follow during this year. But we need to exert more efforts and to have more projects submitted. According to my data, about 15 projects are being considered underway, and we see how the Chamber of Trade and Commerce leads the efforts towards digitalization, electronic document circulation. We have made several steps. We recognize digital signature, and I think that soon we shall issue ST certificates. Thank you for your comment. Thank you once again. We continue our round table. We are getting closer to the centermost speech. According to the schedule, we have noted more than once today that synergy is a must. Now I would like to give floor to our next speaker from Kyrgyzstan, head of organization of entrepreneurs and industrialists. Thank you very much, Ibraev Danil Tursunbakovich. I would like to add to what was said by the previous speaker. I would like to thank the lady who spoke before me for her wonderful organizational efforts in our area. She understands that the agro-industrial sector is a very important growth driver for every one of our countries, where a great many people are engaged, and there are practical efforts within the framework of the EAC. The 3+ cooperation model should be active also in the agro-industrial area. We should move very fast from solution to implementation. It's unique in terms of our integration. Of course, there are several issues to be approached, attended. We have consultative council meeting now. Chairman of the commission will be present there. We shall discuss some issues like barriers, bottlenecks, limitations, obstacles, third countries, and within the framework of all these directions, the sector we are speaking about is one of the most important in terms of synergy, in terms of our further development. It's bee farming. It's During the Soviet times, our share of the bee market was 30%. Now it is negligible. I wouldn't even articulate it. We initiate a project to create a direction agro-industrial process of bee farming. 3 countries are involved: Russia, Belarus, and Kyrgyzstan. And our Kazakh colleagues are about to join in. And our observer is Iran. Millions of hectares of plant crops will add to a potential of additional harvests due to bee farming. Fodder will be environmentally clean without additives, because honey should be free of any contaminants. Speaking about Belarus, where we are now, about 500,000 hectares of rape and sunflower fields under certain conditions could be extremely beneficial. Naturally, harvests could, due to bee farming, could go up by 20 to 30%. Now, Belarus collects 1 million metric tons of rape seeds, as far as I know. With our cooperation, Belarus will have 200,000 to 300,000 metric tons more. We are speaking about bee farming development due to cooperation of our countries. For example, Kyrgyzstan, in Fergana Valley, we plan farming bee mothers and exporting them to the EAEU countries. The Russian Federation now, for instance, produces annually about 60,000 tons of honey, which is obviously not enough. Our cooperation will help to boost the production. We seek the target of more bees, healthier bees, producing better honey bees. We have concluded an agreement with our eastern colleagues to provide to them fodder and, to send to them, to buy from them fodder and to send to them high-quality honey, to harmonize the honey with the applicable international standards, including the European standards. Accordingly, when harmonizing, we shall not produce small jars of honey, which every country of our countries can produce, like Russian, Tatarstan, Bashkiria. We are winning all kinds of exhibitions by bringing a few kilos of honey. But if you bring a 20-foot container, we shall make sure that the quality is not homogeneous. What matters is industrial production of standardized honey. Thus, we can create about 150 jobs. And if we take adjacent industries, it will be about 500,000 persons involved. The sector, just 1 minute left. The sector has a growth potential as well as is in itself a product which can represent us throughout the world as bearers of the Eurasian economic space. When speaking about such cooperation, we spoke in the beginning about aerobus plane, passenger-carrying plane, but honey is not worse at all.
Thank you very much. You have touched very deeply upon this topic, and even those who were not really much knowing about beekeeping and honey making were very interested in listening about it. So as to practical point of view, do you have any ideas how cooperation can be practically implemented here? And from the point of view of businesses, what would be the demand of businesses towards the supranational decision-maker body, the Eurasian Economic Committee? Yes, thank you very much for the question. So when we started implementing the production facilities and we compared Russia and Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan produces high mountains honey. It is valued very much by the market. It's more expensive. And Russia produces more rapeseed and sunflower seed honey, which is no worse, but it's just considered more ordinary and it's not as expensive, so it's cheaper. So we feed the bees with the fodder made of rape seeds, and they are able to make, so to say, higher quality honey. We talked to Gora Ashotovna a lot and asked the EU Commission to make this to give support to this project, and thanks to them, we were supported. We were given support, and the ball is on our side of the field, so to say. And I think soon, together with Gora Ashotovna, we will announce the launching of this project, and as part of the 3+1 approach. Then we also discussed the question of entering third markets. There are great cooperation negotiations with Iran, India, Bangladesh as well. So when we enter those markets with the zone of free trade, still we have certain obstacles in the documents, support documents, the permissions. So now we have an agreement that the EAEU Commission will help us overcome these obstacles. Now we give floor to Ms. Alevtina Kirillovna, the General Director on furthering the agro-industrial cooperation, the Eurasian agro-logistics. So, question to you, Ms. Kirillova. The logistics, the building of the distribution centers, it is topical. Is there a place for cooperation here? Unfortunately, the microphone is not working very well. And there is no sound again from the floor. If somebody could tell Mrs. Kirillova that she could use the microphone, that would be very great. Her microphone is off. And there is absolutely no sound in the booth.
И соответствующим образом мы осветили ключевые проблемы агрокооперации в странах ЕАЭС, исходя из того опыта, который нам дал наш интеграционный агрологистический проект «Евразийский агроэкспресс». Это в первую очередь различия в государственной поддержке и субсидиях, нормативно-правовых актах, недостаток логистической инфраструктуры, тарифные и нетарифные барьеры и финансовые ограничения, изучив которые мы предлагаем ряд необходимых решений по развитию агрокооперации. В сфере логистики это запуск совместных агрологистических центров, хранения, распределения, сортировки, отправки, приема продукции и наличия подвижного состава контейнеров и автомобилей для его вывоза. И в сфере финансирования агроиндустрии, в первую очередь для малых и средних предприятий, которые наращивают свои объемы и готовы это делать, но не имеют доступа к кредитным ресурсам. И локомотивом агрокооперации на сегодняшний день мы видим именно наш интеграционный логистический проект «Агроэкспресс», который на сегодняшний день за 3,5 года его евразийского мандата был развит на 3 ключевых маршрута проекта. Основной маршрут – это в направлении Китая и стран Юго-Восточной Азии. И сегодня мы подписали соглашение с инициативой Китайской Народной Республики «Один пояс, один путь», которая представляет из себя государственную поддержку логистических проектов, в том числе агрологистических, и начали проектирование совместных агрохабов и оптово-распределительных и транспортно-логистических агротерминалов именно под консолидацию товарных запасов агропродукции. Это карта наших маршрутов проекта. Конечно, она волатильная, потому что возникают разные и политические, и санкционные ограничения, но мы постоянно развиваем новые маршруты, осваиваем новые страны и коридоры движения агроэкспрессов. И, конечно, со стороны железнодорожных администраций стран Евразийского союза и логистических операторов, участников нашего проекта, делаем все те необходимые решения, которые позволяют нам активизировать именно агрологистические сервисы. И новые проекты в сфере агрокооперации мы уже официально направили в Евразийскую экономическую комиссию. Мы заполнили 3 паспорта проекта. Это и запуск совместных агрокооперационных предприятий по выпуску мучной крупяной продукции, соковой продукции, консервной продукции, рыбной продукции. В сфере логистики проектирования совместного трансграничного агрологистического терминала с форматом особой экономической зоны и бондовых складов. И в сфере цифровизации мы создаем цифровую экосистему проекта. Наши логистические операторы загружают туда свои сервисы и перевозки, и хранения, и распределения, и можем проводить цифровые сделки и трансграничные платежи. Это проект агрологистического терминала в кооперации Беларусь, Казахстан, Россия. И когда агроэкспресс следует по всем странам Евразес, эта агрокооперация действительно видна практически на полях. И мы можем, пользуясь интеграционными ресурсами, обеспечивать для наших грузовладельцев наилучшие и тарифные ставки, и технологические решения, и финансово-страховые решения. Маркетплейс проекта сейчас на сегодняшний день запущен в пилотном режиме. Мы дорабатываем эту экосистему и запустили формат торговых агроплощадок проекта именно с той целью, чтобы помогать нашим малым и средним предприятиям заключать сделки, проводить финансовые платежи, получать страховые ресурсы. И спасибо большое, Гая Рашотовна, еще раз за совместную работу и всем коллегам за кооперацию и взаимодействие.
Спасибо. Спасибо за то, что вложились в отведенное время. Вопросы у присутствующих, у гостей, у спикеров? Александр Григорьевич, спасибо, что подсветили этот важный аспект, на который часто не обращают незаслуженного внимания, но уверен, что вот вопросы, которые вы затронули, тоже будут рассматриваться в комиссии при выработке оптимальных, эффективных, востребованных моделей кооперационного сотрудничества в этой важнейшей отрасли. Спасибо еще раз вам. Уважаемые коллеги, я бы предложил взглянуть на нашу проблему еще с одной грани это роль институтов развития в укреплении кооперационных связей в ЕАЭС. Особое место в этом процессе занимают торгово-промышленные палаты, которые активно способствуют взаимодействию между бизнесом и государством, помогают находить точки роста и реализовывать совместные проекты. Поэтому позвольте передать слово Дмитрию Николаевичу Курочкину, вице-президенту Российской торгово-промышленной палаты. Пожалуйста.
Большое спасибо. Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги. Должен извиниться за небольшое опоздание, связанное с тем, что сейчас участвовал как раз в заседании консультативного совета, и он был как раз посвящен нашей, в том числе, теме, поэтому не могли, к сожалению, по-другому выбрать время. Хотел прежде всего выразить благодарность, если можно поставить, да, презентацию в части практического содействия реализации нового механизма промышленной кооперации. Сейчас это направление расширено до АПК. В 2023 году все 5 торгово-промышленных палат стран Евразийского союза создали совместный проектный офис по поддержке промкооперации, в состав которого вошли представители всех деловых объединений. На сегодняшний день в портфеле его 12 проектов, как промышленные, так и направленности АПК. Офис достаточно активно работает. У нас в начале марта состоялось очень результативное выездное заседание проектного офиса в Астане, и в том числе нам удалось посетить первый проект, который нашел, уже получил одобрение Евразийской экономической комиссии, это проект «Казрост». Посетили первое предприятие по производству сельхозтехники. И что интересно, когда мы были в городе Кокшетау, где находится предприятие, сразу же получили приглашение от целого ряда других компаний, в частности КамАЗ Инжиниринг, по подключению к данной программе, и тут же оперативно провели систему, целый ряд переговоров. Мы, пользуясь случаем, хотели бы поблагодарить Гуа Рашотовну и весь промышленный блок, который она представляет. Мы со своей стороны максимальное содействие оказываем в части информирования российского бизнеса о новой программе. Вот здесь вы видите открытую презентацию механизма поддержки промкооперации, которая проходила в марте нынешнего года с участием руководства и торгово-промышленной палаты, и других деловых объединений. Эта работа активно продолжается и сейчас. Следующий слайд, пожалуйста. При этом палата активно взаимодействует со всеми общественными структурами бизнеса, которые нацелены на развитие деловых и производственных связей в Евразийском союзе. Так, вот здесь вы видите, 11 апреля у нас состоялось совместное заседание Комитета по продовольственному рынку Делового совета ЕАЭС, Евразийской экономической комиссии и комиссии Российского союза промышленников и предпринимателей по агропромышленному комплексу и продовольственной безопасности, в ходе которой руководитель профильного комитета наш ТПП РФ Петр Александрович Чекмарев представил позицию профессионального экспертного сообщества по возможностям расширения механизма поддержки кооперации в ЕАЭС на агропромышленный сектор. В ходе обсуждения были представлены конкретные проектные инициативы бизнеса в сфере АПК для целей возможного участия в новом механизме поддержки. Следующий слайд, пожалуйста. Возвращаясь к выездным заседаниям, должен отметить, что они зарекомендовали себя как очень эффективные мероприятия, которые позволяют непосредственно посетить те предприятия, которые инициировали проекты. Вот в апреле прошлого года первое у нас выездное заседание было в Минске, как раз и хотели, пользуясь случаем, поблагодарить Белорусскую торгово-промышленную палату, которая нам оказала максимальное содействие, в том числе и по посещению всех предприятий, проработке всех необходимых вопросов, и был дан очень серьезный импульс в нашей совместной работе напоминаю, что необходимо найти участников с 3 сторон, с 3 стран Евразийского экономического союза, что на сегодняшний день представляет достаточно серьезную проблему. Следующий слайд. В сентябре у нас прошло выездное расширенное заседание проектного офиса уже в Кыргызстане, сначала в Бишкеке.
Юрий Николаевич, просьба финализировать.
Да.
Да, и будем переходить к вопросам. Спасибо.
Да, значит, вот повторяю, на каждом из таких заседаний появляются новые проекты, появляются новые инициативы, которые достаточно оперативно трансформируются уже в предложение Евразийской экономической комиссии. Следующий слайд. Вот то, о чем я сказал, в этом году в Казахстане мы посетили целый ряд предприятий, все они касались производства сельхозтехники. Вот Казрост имеет в качестве основного партнера российское предприятие «Россельмаш» и ряд белорусских предприятий, которые поставляют необходимую компонентную базу. Вот речь идет о производстве тракторов, комбайнов и другой сельскохозяйственной техники. Ну, для нас этот проект тем более важен, что это первый проект, который получил одобрение в рамках данной программы. Следующий слайд. И, конечно же, пользуясь случаем, хотели пригласить всех к сотрудничеству. Ближайшее у нас выездное заседание будет на площадке Инопрома, крупнейшей выставочной международной промышленной выставки Инопром в Екатеринбурге, где будет рассматриваться наше тоже сотрудничество как со странами ЕАЭС, так и подключение этому процессу стран ШОС. Спасибо за внимание.
Спасибо. Может быть, есть вопросы? Гуара Шотовна, мы же в Беларуси, здесь можно императивно определять, кто вопросы, или дадим право добровольно?
У нас всегда приветствуется в первую очередь добровольно. Поэтому,
хорошо,
естественно, добровольно.
Тогда, учитывая, что это площадка ЕЭК, сохрани вашу практику. Николаевич, у меня вопрос, если позволите. Немножко такого из личного опыта. Вот опыт Банка развития, наш опыт, говорит о том, что между идеей и финансированием часто бывает пропасть. И мы сами видим большой дефицит проектов внутри, даже внутри страны, не говоря о кооперации, когда под замечательно отработанную модель просто нет хороших проектов. Вот видите ли вы, или каким образом видите роль торгово-промышленных палат в том, чтобы выступить неким квази-инкубатором, который бы вместе с бизнесом проходил прединвестиционную стадию, доводя проект до финансирования? Или это с этим вопросом не к вам?
Нет, с этим вопросом как раз к нам. Еще в 2011 году, когда я начал работу в торгово-промышленной палате, наш президент Сергей Николаевич Каперин предложил систему, мы начали реализацию проекта, который получил название «Инвестопроводящая инфраструктура на базе системы торгово-промышленных палат». Это именно то, о чем вы говорите. То есть речь идет о том, что все элементы нашей системы, а это 130 палат по всей территории страны, это 35 комитетов и советов, где сосредоточен наш экспертный потенциал, это наши дочерние структуры, экспоцентр, ЦМТ и так далее. Так вот, загранпредставительства, задействовать их всех в целях привлечения инвестиций, как раз вот содействия реализации инвестиционным промышленным проектам. То есть, с одной стороны, то есть мы фактически создали конвейер, который движется в двух направлениях. С одной стороны, инициатива идет от регионов к потенциальным инвесторам, с другой стороны, к нам инвесторы присылают ряд заявок, в соответствии с которыми мы уже находим партнеров на уровне регионов и даже отдельных муниципалитетов. Более того, могу проиллюстрировать, что мы каждый год, сейчас для наглядности покажу, чтобы было понятно, каждый год мы выпускаем вот такие сборники ТПП России без отрыва от производства, где даем перечень наиболее интересных кейсов, проектов, как они были реализованы, с какими сложностями столкнулись. И как раз речь идет о тесном взаимодействии именно системы ТПП с институтами развития, в частности с Фондом развития промышленности, Фондом развития интернет-инициатив, Фондом Сколково и другими. И все это работает системно и комплексно. То есть это, прямо скажем так, по адресу. Вот.
Спасибо. Спасибо большое. Мы сегодня много говорили
Today
о
we used to
механизмах
talk a lot
поддержки
about
финансирования
expanding
промышленных кооперационных проектов.
support mechanisms of the agricultural sector. Our next speaker is Mr. Aktonov,
Делового совета ЕАЭС.
chairman of the Food Market Committee of the EAEU Business Council.
Принимали очень
You,
активное участие в разработке предложений,
sir, you took
которые
an
сегодня
active
обсуждаем,
part
которые сегодня финализируются
in
на площадке комиссии. Расскажите,
the
пожалуйста, подробнее о этих предложениях. Насколько
in addressing the issues we are discussing today, right now. Please tell us what are the support mechanisms active in the 5 member states. Thank you. Last year in Yerevan, we met and represented all of the major sector unions in the area of agriculture. From that time on, we take an active part in discussing the expansion of support mechanisms in the agro-business sector. Yesterday, during our presidium meeting, we had an opportunity to discuss all the key elements of the mechanism, and with a lot of satisfaction, we point out that there are many projects also proposed on cooperation in the EAEU member states. We had some additional proposals put forth for it, for mechanism improvement, like the 2+ mechanism, when both 2 member state companies are involved, as well as a partner observer country, which from a nation which signed a free trade agreement is an observer. There are lots of promising elements to move forward along this way, also to expand our exports and to control imports of agrarian technologies and products. We see high potential in terms of smart farming, structural projects. I've heard that today a project will be discussed on honey production. The Russian Federation, on its behalf, have proposed projects, Russian chicken selection, among other things. I represent one of the major agro holdings in the Russian Federation, and it's a major world's poultry meat manufacturer in the world. And our plans for 2025, we should increase the number of hens on our farms by about 40%. We should digitalize cross 9 chicken breed. I appeal to everyone interested to participate in this project. We engage in open dialogue about agricultural produce export. We see production growth in our countries. We invest in our projects, but the potential of the domestic EAEU markets is not fully used. I have an example, but I don't want to go into too much detail, not to point fingers. We have quite a few examples when the existing imports from non-EAEU countries can be replaced with our domestic production. I think that in addition to all the proposals put forth here today, I would like to say that we have to cooperate as industry unions, like meat unions, and other produce unions. One more suggestion I would like to articulate and want to include in the minutes, including stock market trading. I speak about such things as the BRICS grain market. It can be expanded to the EAEU countries. It may not only be grain, but also other products. It is a major trend appearing in Russia. To answer your question, I would like to state that speaking about the cooperation processes, we mean not just creation of specific production of product flow, but all the entire chain, including financial tools, agro-logistics, and all the relevant elements. To add up to Alevtina, I would like to say that logistics, both internal and internal, should be unified and be conducted under a single umbrella. We see export potential. I am about to wrap up. Thank you. We see potential of cooperation in terms of product, agricultural produce exports. It is a vital topic. We need a dialogue to ensure food security and sovereignty of the EAEU countries. As the first steps to coordinate export plans and strategies among our countries, we do suggest a possible joint export trade mission, several missions to the outer markets like Indonesia. We could be jointly represented at those trade platforms we are going to engage in. Many thanks to all the colleagues for interesting contributions. I wish everyone success to work towards common goals. Dear colleagues, one of the motives to implement joint products is not only to strengthen food security, but also to increase, to cut imports. One of the examples is the Eurasian sugar hybrid. What difficulties have you encountered? Berdnikov Roman Vladimirovich, Sugar Beet Seed Initiative. The hybrid should represent an effort towards improving the quality of sugar beets with stability towards major pests and disease and adaptability to different climatic and earth areas to produce competitive sugar beet hybrids along the multinational companies represented in the world. We implement a project of classical technologies, bioselection. We have a selection center in Voronezh region. It has all the necessary preconditions to do its research and selection work with branches in Moscow and Krasnodar. We have organized seed farming in Crimea, Stavropol, Krasnodar. All the seeds mostly are produced, sugar beet seeds are produced in northern Italy and south France. We have selected areas which are on par with these areas. The need for sugar beet seeds in 25 is about 1.5 million seed units, including all the Russian areas. To ensure this seed volume, we have implemented an overall approach, 3 unit selections, building a selection center, Eurasian Selection Center, with identification possibilities, laboratory, biomolecular laboratory, skill upgrade, then seed production, seed factories, special mechanisms. Testing institute should be introduced to create hybrids and assess the tested quality, and creation commercial hybrids, speeding up registration procedures and certification. Primary cost assessment has been conducted to commercialize further the area, and the total amount is 11.2 billion Russian rubles. 23 in March, we signed an agreement between Russia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, and within the framework of the agreement we have exchanged genetic materials, final products, began testing. We collect information of genetics available in every country to achieve genetic product which will put out to the maximum its potential. The species, the cultures will be stable. Belarus has conducted testing in 9 farms. The hybrids are viable both in Russia and in Belarus and compare well to foreign analogues. The product is competitive and represents a significant achievement to be further developed in the future. As far as registration is concerned, 2 hybrids have been registered in Belarus, 3 undergoing testing. This is the same situation in Kyrgyzstan and elsewhere. The sugar beet seeds are instrumental in sugar production, as you well understand. Thank you for your kind attention, and I'm looking forward to your questions. Tadio Schilling, Director General of European Business Association, is involved in our discussion today. Does the European business share successful practices or technology transfers? Is only expressed beautifully wrapped up in beautiful paper in our speeches, or is it fact of life? Thank you very much for an opportunity provided to take part in your discussion. Today, we discuss very broadly, against the background of the geopolitical situation, a possible comeback of foreign companies. I would like to begin my contribution to what is the most important thing, that not all have left the market. And our association has been continuously working in the EAEU countries, and the association has 6 committees involved in the agro-industrial complex,
Это и пестициды, это семена,
pesticides, seeds,
machinery,
machinery,
То есть
and
это
so on.
очень стратегическая,
Strategically,
значимая отрасль,
it's a
где
significant
участвуют
area
европейские компании в
with
развитии
European companies
этого комплекса
participating
по всем 5
in
странам.
the development
И
in all
я
the
думаю,
5
что вот
union
вопрос
countries. And I
развития
do think
этого
that
агропромышленного
the
комплекса,
development
на
of the
самом деле, который мы
agro-industrial
сегодня обсуждаем,
complex we
и
are
мы
discussing
поддерживаем те
right
инициативы,
now,
которые наши коллеги, друзья
while
озвучили,
supporting the
которые
initiatives articulated
разные
by our friends and
представители
colleagues,
госорганов озвучили, они на самом деле, эта тема имеет
it is a
стратегическое
topic
значение
of
не только
strategic
для самого Союза, для
significance,
там,
not only for the Union,
самообеспеченности, там,
like
уровень
autarky,
продовольственной безопасности, это
food
вопрос
security.
почти стратегического
It's
масштаба для всего мира.
a matter
Поскольку
of
до
strategic dimension for the
50-го
entire
года,
world,
спрос на
because the
продовольствие
demand for agriculture
должно, по оценкам
is going up,
ФАО,
and according to
расти
the FAO,
на 60%. А вот здесь
according
вот
to the
какой
FAO
потенциал перед
estimates,
нами открывается.
quite soon the demand
Прежде
for
всего,
food
для
products will
дальнейшего
grow up by
развития,
60%.
Через призм иностороннего бизнеса мы
Through the
видим
prism of foreign
два
businesses,
направления,
we can see
которые
two
могут максимально
vectors
эффективно этому
which can
способствовать. Первое —
promote
это внедрение самых передовых
introduction
технологий.
of
Очень
advanced
интересно было
technologies.
слышать, вот сколько
I was very intrigued to
местных
hear how many
инициатив,
local
программ
initiatives,
уже
programs
запущены.
have
Я
already
рад
been
сообщить
launched.
о
I'm
том, что
happy
иностранные
to
компании не менее активно
inform
в этом
that foreign
процессе
companies are
участвуют. Например,
proactively
в
engaged
области
in the
точечного
process,
земледелия
like
наши
spot
компании
farming.
Bayer из Германии,
Our
Syngenta
Bayern,
Швейцария, BASF тоже
Syngenta,
Германия,
BASF, Germany
продолжают внедрять
still
вот эти
integrate
проекты, такие
the
как Climate
projects
Field
such
View,
as Climate Field
с
View,
прогнозированием
with
максимально
forecasting
точного
maximum
урожайности
accurate
посадок. Такие проекты
harvest
тоже, как от Syngenta
of
CropWise,
Syngenta, CropWise,
где искусственный интеллект
where
тоже с
AI
помощью анализа
analyzes
спутниковых снимок позволяет более
satellite
эффективно все это
pictures
произвести.
to
Помимо этого,
make accurate
автоматизация,
assessments.
роботизация самых процессов с применением
Robotics
сельхозтехники от
in
наших
agricultural
компаний,
machines,
как Class, John Deere и так далее. То
by
есть
companies
это
such
всего
John Deere,
лишь примеры,
Class.
чтобы
These are examples
подчеркнуть,
to
что вот это
underline
сотрудничество
that the
никогда
cooperation
не прекращалось,
has
и
never stopped,
иностранный бизнес
and foreign
полноценно
businesses
участвует.
is a
Второе
fully fledged
направление, где
participant.
можно
Vector 2,
способствовать
where we can promote and support
эффективному развитию АПК
an
на
efficient
территории
agro-business
Евразийского Союза, мне кажется, вот многие уже об этом
development
говорили,
in the union
это дальнейшая
countries is a further
интеграция,
integration,
это снижение барьеров и усовершенствование
reducing barriers,
регуляторной среды.
obstacles.
Здесь нам кажется важно отметить
In our opinion,
три момента.
there
Первое —
are
это
three
унификация
major
технических
elements.
регламентов в сфере АПК.
Regulation, unification in
В
agro-business,
некоторых областях еще присутствует
because there are some still discrepancies in several areas,
регуляторных систем, которые приводят к задержкам,
which leads
которые приводят
to
к дополнительным
costs,
издержкам и
additional costs
ограничениям
and limitations
трансграничной торговли в том числе.
in transborder trade.
У нас есть
We
список
have
примеров
a
тех
list of examples
технических стандартов, которые
of the
требовали бы
technical
дальнейшей
standards, norms,
гармонизации,
which are in
там,
need
безопасности
of
пищевой
further
продукции, пищевой
harmonization,
продукции с частью
like
маркировки и безопасности
marking,
зерна.
branding,
Второе — это
food
гармонизация
safety,
систем сертификации
harmonization
органической
of
продукции. Не менее
organic
важно,
product
чтобы вот и
certification.
там есть разные стандарты в
There are
разных
different
странах.
standards in every
было бы
country.
Господин Шиллинг нас
Mr.
торопит.
Schilling,
Прошу.
Было бы целесообразно
we
здесь
should
тоже.
wrap up.
И
I'm sorry.
последнее,
And the
что
last
хотел сказать,
one,
это в отношении
relations
импортозамещения, введения
in
новых
terms of import
ограничительных мер, мы все
replacement,
понимаем. Мы
we
понимаем,
understand the need
откуда
for that,
вот это желание, откуда эта необходимость возникла, но нам кажется
but
критически важно там
we
заплести
believe
баланс,
that it is critically important to keep the balance.
вместе с водой. Мы готовы к этому сотрудничеству. Очень благодарны коллегам из
We are
комиссии за
grateful to our
диалог
colleagues
и
from the
за
Commission
сегодняшнюю
for a dialogue
участие.
and for
Спасибо вам большое.
today's
Спасибо большое.
opportunity to participate. Thank you very much.
Заключительное на сегодня выступление
Final
будет доктор
report
Аунжи,
today
заместитель министра сельского
by
хозяйства,
Dr.
руководства
Aungji
делегации Республики
from the
Союз
Republic
Мьянма.
Union
Для
of
всех
Myanmar.
русскоязычных прошу переключиться на первый канал.
All the Russian speakers, please switch on to channel 1 and use your earphones. Mr. Aungji, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to speak with you today about the vital role of Myanmar's agricultural exports and the critical needs for agricultural inputs in driving the country's sustainable development. Agriculture remains the backbone of Myanmar economy, employing a significant proportion of our population and contributing substantially to our national economy. In recent years, Myanmar has made steady progress in expanding agricultural export, but the pathway to sustain growth requires targeted action on modernization, import security, and regional partnership. Agricultural led by buses constitute nearly 1/4 of the agri-food export. Rice, the greater presence in the international markets. Maize has emerged as the fast-growing export commodity, reflecting diversification in our agricultural portfolio. Additionally, fishery products, coffee, dried chilies, garlic, and onions contribute significantly to our export revenue. Second, while our export potential is promising, Myanmar faces critical needs in agricultural inputs that must be met to boost productivity and quality. Access to quality fertilizer, particularly from countries like Russia and Belarus, Eurasian Economic Union member countries, is essential for maintaining soil fertility and increasing yields. Improved seeds and planting materials are needed to enhance crop resilience and output. Modern agricultural machinery and equipment can reduce labor intensity and improve efficiency, yet their availability remains limited. In Myanmar, an annual requirement of fertilizer is 4.04 million tons, comprising 1.8 million tons of nitrogen, 0.92 million tons of phosphorus, 0.8 million tons of potash, and 0.48 million tons of compound fertilizer. Currently, annual imports include 1 million tons of nitrogen fertilizer, 50,000 tons of phosphorus fertilizer, 80,000 tons of potash fertilizer, compound fertilizer, 300,000 tons, gypsum, foliar, organic, biofertilizer, and other fertilizer, totally 1.2 million tons. Belarus is a globally recognized country in fertilizer production, especially potash and nitrogen-based fertilizer. If Belarus is interested in investing in fertilizer production in Myanmar, we are willing to assist you with any necessary support. Third, technology and knowledge transfer are vital for the modernization of Myanmar's agriculture. The adoption of precision farming, climate resilient, crop varieties, and sustainable irrigation practices will help our farmers adapt to the challenges posed by climate change. Strengthening compliance with international quality standards such as Myanmar.
Mr. Onji,
Good agriculture. Sorry?
1 minute more.
Yes.
Please.
Such as Myanmar CAP certification will open new markets and increase the value of our export. In the livestock sector, we would like to collaborate technical cooperation on modern breeding and production practices, as well as the prevention and control of animal disease. We would like to invite investment in the development of infrastructure and advanced production methods for the processing of dairy products, as well as the produce of high-quality milk, dairy products, meat, and meat products. We also would like to request to provide procedures and standards for import inspection of aquatic products of Myanmar's aquatic products exportation. In conclusion, Myanmar's agricultural sector holds immense potential for contributing to economic growth and poverty reduction by addressing the needs for quality imports and embracing technology advancement. Myanmar can enhance its export competitiveness and ensure sustainable development. Cooperation with international partners, including the Eurasian Economic Union, offers valuable opportunities for trade facilitation, investment, and knowledge exchange. Let us work collaboratively to harness these opportunities and build a prosperous future of Myanmar agriculture and its people. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you. Уважаемая Аглая Рашотовна, уважаемые коллеги, будем подводить итоги. Подвести их
So,
каким-то
dear
одним
colleagues,
ключевым
it's difficult to make a summary because all of the speeches were very different. But I'm sure that EU Commission will take into consideration all of these suggestions that were made in order to make them topical in September. All of these thoughts that were expressed can be applied, implemented in some documents. Thank you very much, Roman Pavlovich and dear colleagues. Thank you very much for very interesting suggestions and very interesting speeches. Of course, all of the suggestions will be studied and some of them will be used for decision-making. Thank you very much for a very live discussion and all of the speeches. Thank you. So this completes our roundtable. We wish you all a very fruitful rest of the day.